Hello and welcome to BQ Prime. You're watching Earnings with BQ, and my guest today is from Mahanagar Gas Ashu Shinghal, MD of the company. Mr. Singhal, thank you very much for joining us on BQ Prime. Sir, you got a good EBITDA growth in the fourth quarter. What was the triggers for this EBITDA growth?
See, there was a volume growth in terms of last year, 14% to 15% volume growth is there. And second is that there were few steps where the government, like Kirit Parikh recommendations were accepted from 7th of April, but that was primarily for this year. But last year, 1st of February, HPHT prices were also reduced, and LNG prices also came down quite substantially in last half year of this, the second half of this year. So all put together, we found that the EBITDA margins were slightly better off than the last year.
Sir, there has been price cuts which have aided volumes for you. How much of price cut have you taken in Q4? Have you taken any price cuts in Q1? And what is the kind of price, the guidance that you see as of now?
On 1st February, Q4 of last financial year, we reduced prices by 2.5 rupees, primarily on account of HPHT gas being allocated to CGD on priority. On 8th of April, on the Q1 of this current financial year, we reduced CNG prices by 8 rupees from 87 to 79, and also DPNG prices by 5 rupees from 54 to 49. So those were the price cuts we took in two steps on CNG and one step in PNG connections.
Do you see price cuts happening going forward?
Currently, we are evaluating and waiting that how crude fluctuates and what is the delta which is available on petrol, diesel versus CNG, as well as our cost of procurement and how LNG prices move. So based on that, we'll take a call maybe 2 months down the line, because right now, very recently, we have reduced the prices. So we will like to maintain this prices for some time and see how it rolls out going few months from now.
Because of the though you have taken price cuts in the last 5 months, the volume growth has been very tepid in that sense, because of the conversion, and as a result the conversions are also slower. Do you see the volumes coming back because you have taken two price cuts, and that should increase conversion rates going into FY24?
See, these things take some time, the volume growth as well as the conversion, because conversion, when it happens this year, will have an impact going forward, and it have some lag to that. So volume growth also, we expect 7 to 8% growth this year, although CAGR in last few years have been around 4 to 5%. The COVID has a negative impact, but last year to this year, we say 14% growth is there. Some low numbers for last year was primarily on account of COVID also, 1 or 2 months. But other than that, we expect 7 to 8% volume growth. Conversion also, we have seen around 80,000 3-4 years back. On COVID account, it got reduced to some numbers. Now 65,000 was the number last financial year. This year, we expect it to go back to around 75,000 or 70,000.
What about the outlook for prices? Because so far petrol and diesel prices are stable. Going into the second half of the year, we have multiple states going into elections, and then early next year there will be another, the general elections are coming in. There are likely that the petrol and diesel prices may be reduced given the kind of stability we see. Do you see a risk of reducing prices further as a result of that, to maintain the delta between petrol and CNG, PNG?
It's very difficult to predict, but what you are saying is right. Next year, if general elections are there, then maybe the prices will not be, may not be raised to a great level. But however, we find that the current delta is already substantial for giving a push to CNG vehicles. So in case diesel and petrol comes down further, we will see how to optimize on that. But current delta is significant in our view, to see the growth in the volumes as well as conversions.
Where do you see this delta stabilizing? Because if I'm not wrong, it's around 24% for petrol and 47% for diesel, right? So, is that the delta that you would like to maintain even if prices fluctuate for diesel and petrol?
Yes, that is right, because that level of delta should be enough to pull the volumes and conversions.
Is there a just to understand, because you are a veteran from this industry, uh, if the delta increases, does there is there a multiplier effect with respect to conversions that happen?
See, it does not have a very immediate effect, but it takes some time for any effect to be visible in terms of convergence. See, there are multiple factors, like people are also waiting and watching electric vehicles. There are, once they take a decision from buying a new vehicles, they weigh so many options. So it's not very simple that the CNG prices will have immediate effect. It takes some time for that to actually roll into the decision making of the customers. So they also see that what is the stability in prices. In that respect, we have been maintaining some delta. Only for a few months the delta was reduced, but now again it has been restored. And going forward, if LNG prices remain low at a sustained manner, then we will further reduce the prices.
Sir, have you seen or have you done an calculation of what is the kind of delta that you would have with, say, electric vehicles, two-wheelers or cars? Because in the next 12 to 18 months, you will see a lot of new vehicles in the EV range going to come out. You have the top players like the Tatas and Mahindras already looking at a slew of launches in the EV segment. So, your biggest competitor for them would be the EV, and people would start comparing CNG versus EV. So, have you done some exercise on how it is actually?
If we talk about EVs, two-wheeler segment is the first which is expected to be impacted in a big manner. Then maybe three-wheeler. The four-wheeler segment, we think that private vehicles will be taking some impact after some years, because whatever the ranges of EVs are available in the range of 11 to 15 lakhs, the capital cost of procurement of EVs. Whereas CNG segment is mostly in 5 to 6 lakhs, 3 to 6 lakhs range. So in that respect, CNG volumes will be not impacted, and going forward, the EV infrastructure needs to be in place. Also, we have to see that CNG also is growing in a big manner in terms of more CNG stations are being put up. So one is the city population, the other is the floating population of CNG vehicles, which are getting added as the time goes, because more and more CNG stations are being put up on the highways. So if we talk about Mumbai, the highways connecting to Nasik, to Ahmedabad, to Goa and Bangalore, all these will be getting connected with multiple CNG stations. So that will also be another floating population which is available to our GAs. So EVs, yes, it is a challenge. It will take some of the share, especially in three-wheelers. But four-wheelers, we are expecting that the impact will be very minimal for at least another 7 to 8 years of time.
Mr. Singhal, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much for joining us on BQ Prime.
Thank you so much. Pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.